Good evening, dear students. Today I am going to start from here. The story recap is that Jody had gone to the forest to look for the fawn, and ultimately he found the fawn. He stroked its sides as gently as though the fawn were a china deer and he might break it. It was so delicate that he stroked his sides. He just caressed it, loved it. Its skin was very soft, it was sleek and clean, and had a sweet scent of grass because he was found among the grass only. He rose slowly and lifted the fawn from the ground. His legs hung limply because its legs are very long. They were surprisingly long because Jody was also very small, and he had to hoist the fawn as high as possible. Hoist means to pull up. Here also it is written the meaning. Yeah, see, pull up higher. He was afraid that it might kick and bleat at sight and smell of its mother. He skirted the clearing and pushed his way into the thicket. Thicket means a very thick bush. It was difficult to fight through with his burden. The burden was the fawn in his arms, and now and again the fawn's legs caught in the bushes, and he could not lift his own with freedom. He tried to shield his face with pricking vines. Its head bobbed with his stride. Stride means walk. As Jody was walking, the mouth of the deer was also bobbing. His heart thumped with the marvel of its acceptance of him. Thumped means felt. Thumped word is here. Thumped means very, very happy. Marvel also means happiness, with the marvel of its acceptance, that the deer had accepted him. He reached the thicket and walked as fast as he could until he came to an intersection of the road home. Now understand what is an intersection? This is an intersection. Now Jody was coming here and he reached this point. This point he reached. This is called the intersection. He stopped to rest and set the fawn down on its dangling legs. Dangling means hanging legs. It wavered on them. It looked at him and bleated. The fawn looked at Jody and he bleated for what? The fawn wants Jody to keep him in his arms and not put him on the ground. He said, enchanted. Enchanted means again very immense, happy, ecstasy that he was feeling at that time. I'll carry you after I get my breath. So he was talking to the deer and said he will carry him only after he catches his breath, because he was feeling breathless by holding him for such a long time. He remembered his father saying that the fawn would follow if it had first been carried. So his father had told him, if you carry it for a little while, after that the fawn is going to follow you. He started away slowly. The fawn stared after him. He came back to it and stroked it and walked away again. See, he was playing with him. Jody walked away, but the fawn did not follow. He came back and again patted him. Then it took a few wobbling steps towards him and cried piteously. Piteously because he was looking for his mother. And now because Jody was loving him, he don't want to leave Jody as well. It was willing to follow him because it belonged to him. It was his own. He was light-headed with joy. Again a phrase. Happiness. He was feeling so immensely happy. He wanted to fondle it, to run. He wanted to play with the the fawn, the baby deer. To run and romp with it. Romp means to play with it. To call it to come to him, just as we call our dogs by the name, come here, and the dog comes running to you. Just like that, Jody also wanted the fawn to come near him. He dared not alarm it. Alarm means to frighten him. He picked it up and carried it in front of him over his two arms. It seemed to him that he walked without effort. His arms began to ache. This is the word ache here. It started paining because small boy cannot carry a baby deer. And he was forced to stop again. When he walked on, the fawn followed him at once. He allowed it to walk a little distance, then picked it up again. This is what he was doing to reach home. Sometime he's picking up, putting him down on the ground, and the fawn following him. He was wet with sweat, but a light breeze blew through the June morning, cooling him. The sky was as clear as spring water in a blue china cup. He came to the clearing. It was fresh and green after the night's rain. He fumbled with the latch and was finally obliged to set down the fawn to manage it. It was green, fresh and green after the night's rain. So you can understand this. He fumbled with the latch and was finally obliged to set down the fawn to manage it. Means he was not feeling comfortable to carry that fawn for a very long distance. So sometimes he put it down on the ground to walk. Then he had an idea. This is the idea coming into his mind. He would walk into the house, into Penny's bedroom with the fawn walking behind him. But at the steps, the fawn balked and refused to climb them. Now, when he had reached his house, there was a staircase, and on the first floor, it was his father's room. And he had thought that he would take fawn there. He would walk himself, and the fawn would be following him to his father's room. But as soon as the stairs start, the fawn stopped and refused to climb. He picked it up and went to his father, Penny, who was lying with closed eyes. Jody called, "Pa, look," means look at the fawn. Penny turned his head. Jody stood beside him. The fawn clutched hard against him. It seems to Penny that the boy's eyes were as bright as the fawn's. Fawn's eyes are always bright. Whenever you see children's eye, they are very, very bright. Similarly, today Jody, after finding fawn, he was feeling so happy and his eyes were as bright as the fawn's. He said, "Here is father." This is what Pa said. "I am glad you found him." Jody then went to the kitchen. The fawn wobbled after him. Now the fawn was following him. A pan of morning's milk stood in the kitchen safe. The cream had risen on it. He skimmed the cream into a jug. He poured the milk into a small gourd, means small container. He held it to the fawn. It butted. It suddenly smelling the milk. He saved it precariously, means very carefully. He does not want the milk to be spilled down. So he was very careful at that time. It could make nothing of the milk in the gourd. Means he was not able to drink milk from the container. So now he tried another thing. He dipped his fingers in the milk and then thrust them into the fawn's soft wet mouth. It sucked greedily, just as he was very, very hungry as well as thirsty also. And the little fawn, it is brought up by the mother by giving her own milk. So Jody also is supplying milk to him, and now he had started taking the milk in from his finger. When he withdrew his fingers, it bleated frantically, means very, very loudly, and butted him. He dipped his fingers again, and as the fawn sucked, he lowered them slowly into the milk. The fawn blew and sucked and snorted. It stamped its small hoofs impatiently. As long as he held his fingers below the level of the milk, the fawn was content. Content means satisfied that he has drunk the... Now see here you can see it is sucking from... See, here you can see sucking from the fingers. And this is the container. It closed its eyes dreamily. It was ecstasy to feel its tongue against his hand. Its small tail flicked back. And you can see the tail also. This is the small tail. Okay. The last of the milk vanished in the swirl of foam and gurgling. And the fawn had drunk all the milk at one go. So now, students, you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions today as homework. And tomorrow I will give you another work related to, see it is written here, working with language. So this we are going to do tomorrow, not today. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8. Do these questions in your fair copy. And if you don't understand, you can ask me on my personal number. Okay then, bye-bye. See you.